Morning, boss.
What have you found?
No one else on the premises, boss, just the body.
And it's one of the owners?
Yep, Hassan Ahmed.
So, this is the Ahmed brothers' dodgy little empire. Never thought I'd see the inside of here without a search warrant. Who reported him missing?
His wife? She was worried because he didn't come home all night.
So, he's not usually a stay-out or night merchant?
Apparently not. We didn't take it as too serious. So then one of his workers found him early this morning.
Where?
In the office.
Dr. Robinson here?
Yep.
Good. I want his views on this one. Dr. Robinson.
Inspector.
Ready to earn your fee? What was the time of death?
Hard to say with any accuracy until I've seen the paths report.
Roughly.
I'd say it happened sometime yesterday evening.
Looks like he was backing away from his attacker.
Mm-hmm. Till he couldn't back away any further.
How did he die?
Single puncture wound to the centre of the chest.
Knife?
No, smaller, much thinner.
We haven't located a murder weapon yet, boss. I'll see how they're getting on outside.
Inspector. Inspector. Are you okay?
Any idea of the angle of the attack? How tall was the attacker?
Well, Mr. Ahmed was cowering down and trying to escape at the time, so really it's very difficult to say.
So anyone between a Munchkin and Bigfoot? I'm not joking, I need something to help me here.
Yeah, okay. Look,
Don't let me stop you working.
No sign of a weapon outside.
Okay, no weapon. How are we on motive?
Could be a racially motivated attack.
Or maybe a robbery that went wrong? The Ahmeds are wealthy and don't mind who knows it. We should check with someone, see if anything's missing.
You'll find Mr. Ahmed's Mercedes is still outside. You'll probably find that none of the stock is missing. And if a sundry item such as Mr. Ahmed's wallet is missing, it'll just be to cover up the fact that this was probably a gangland killing.
Who are you?
Earl Griffin. Detective Inspector Earl Griffin, National Crime Squad.
Pleased to meet you.
You won't be. I'm taking over this investigation.
Well, I'm sure Dr. Thompson never meant to worry you unduly, Mrs. Tyler. Okay. Goodbye.
Mary Ward.
Ben, have you seen Helen? She's not answering.
Staff room.
Okay, what do you know?
Sarah? Mary Ward.
Helen? I've just had Claire Tyler on the phone. You saw her and her husband yesterday. He's a long-distance lorry driver worried about athlete's foot.
All right, yeah, what does she want?
She's scared stiff to let him out the house.
Why? I said the athlete's foot wouldn't affect his driving.
Yeah, but you've also talked about the perils of long-distance driving, about being away from home, and you got all maudlin telling him to make the most of every day.
Well, they've got to make the most of their time together. Everyone does.
But you made it sound like something was going to happen.
It's not. I just wish I'd done things differently, viewed life differently. But then you don't expect the world to kick you in the teeth the same way twice. Right, well, I better ring Claire Tyler. Tell her the world's not going to end.
What did your superintendent say?
He wants a fast result. And as I'm part of a regional crime squad, I am to offer you every assistance with your side of the inquiry.
Good.
But we're to share the lead on this.
Are you up to speed?
Said you'd brief me.
Okay. My team investigates the movement of illicit funds. We were gathering evidence which pointed to the Ahmed brothers running a massive money laundering scam. We're so close to nailing them. As of yesterday, we almost had enough evidence to make a series of arrests.
The only arrest I'm interested in is the killers.
And what experience do you have of gangland killings, Detective Inspector Roth?
I wasn't aware this was a job interview. Besides, what makes you so sure it's gangland?
Who else would have the front to bump off someone as well connected as Ahmed? It could be connected with the laundering. Maybe Ahmed got too greedy. Or maybe they just wanted to shut him down before we got to him.
We haven't disproved the robbery theory yet.
Boss, the murder weapon. Do you think we may know what it is? Forensics said that the small puncture wound that killed Mr. Ahmed could have been caused by a screwdriver. And there's a missing screwdriver in this toolkit.
The box was within easy reach for the attacker.
A hired killer who just grabs the nearest weapon to hand.
I'll find out at the autopsy if the wound matches the screwdriver.
I'll find out.
His name is Gary Masters. Gary Masters. M-A-S. Yes, that's right. Usually I wouldn't worry if my Gary stays out because he phones to say, but this time he didn't. And when I woke up and he hadn't come back... Sorry. Yes, I'll slow down. You will find him, won't you?
We may have to work together, but I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't give my team direct orders.
You're to give me every assistance. Now I'm going to pull the other Ahmed brother in for questioning.
I'm off now, Inspector.
When will your report be ready?
Soon as.
I'd appreciate that, cheers.
Is everything okay?
I've dealt with worse than him before.
No, I didn't mean... I meant you. You don't look well.
You're a charmer, aren't you?
Seriously, is something bothering you?
The only thing that's bothering me is the identity of Mr. Ahmed's killer, keeping control of the inquiry, and in the short term where to find a good cappuccino, okay? Thank you, Doctor.
Boss, we've got something.
What?
The CCTV camera for the off-licence over the road. It shows a man arriving 8 o'clock last night and leaving in a hurry 2 minutes later.
Excellent, get the pictures enhanced.
And there's a partial plate from his car. When we blow it up, might be enough.
Finally, this day gets better.
George, could I have a word? About Helen.
What about her?
It's just she's been behaving a bit odd and I wondered if you knew anything about
Oh, have either of you seen Faith?
home visits.
Oh, I thought she'd be back by now. Okay, look, I'll see you later.
Bye.
Helen's been dwelling on things lately. You know, stuff like life and death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she hasn't got the healthiest view on it all, if you know what I mean.
What, like we all turn to dust in the end, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I think we should do? Nothing. Just give her a bit of time, let her sort herself out.
Look, I know she's grieving.
If it makes you feel any better, I promise to keep a special eye on her. Prune?
I'll pass, thanks.
So it's good.
Well, it's all the practice I'm getting.
Make sure you come back.
Oh, why? Are you going to miss me?
No. Sergeant's got a couple of argumentative winos on their way and they're in a bit of a state. Enjoy.
Boss, we've got ID on the man who visited the warehouse. Name of Gary Masters.
Let's go.
And he's been reported missing by his wife. Didn't come home last night.
I don't know the exact time he went out, but he was gone by the time I got back from the health club. It's the one on Portland Road. We run it together.
I know it. And what time was that, Mrs. Masters?
I got back at 7.
Do you know where Gary had gone?
I thought he might be playing cards with his mates. Sometimes that can go on all night. So I went upstairs, had a bath and went to bed.
When did you first get worried?
When I woke up this morning. That's when I found he'd left these. He'd never go out without his keys and wallet.
And yet you took his car keys. Could anyone else have used his car? Had access to it?
No. Why?
Do you know the names of any of Gary's mates?
Not many of them.
Would you recognise the name Hassan Ahmed?
Who?
Hassan Ahmed. If he's not one of his friends, maybe Gary knows him from the health club?
I don't know. We get all sorts. Catering to a wealthy clientele of Lethbridge's elite. What's all this got to do with Gary going missing?
We need to talk to him in relation to an incident.
What sort of incident?
I can't say at this point.
Involving this Ahmed man?
I can't say.
Has Gary done something wrong?
Okay. Oh, it's you.
It's good to know she's still the epitome of efficiency. When I worked with her, she had young children and she was still organising everybody, from the post clerk upwards.
Well, that's Julia.
Well, it was good of Mac and her to put you in touch with me. Now, before we start, I must stress that everything said here in this session is totally confidential.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't hurt to restate. Now, as a doctor yourself, how do you think it'll feel to undergo psychotherapy?
What's she given us?
Seems genuinely shocked. Doesn't seem to know of any relationship between her husband and Ahmed.
This is Masters. This is Masters. This is Masters. Inspector Earl Griffin. This is Masters. Detective Inspector Earl Griffin. Just like to ask you a few more questions.
I guess my biggest worry would be that I'd second guess everything. Say things that you want to hear.
You probably could. But firstly, as you know, there are no right answers. And secondly, this session isn't about deception. It's about finding the truth.
Had Gary stayed out before? Why did you worry so much this time?
I've already told the other officer.
Tell me.
This time he left his keys and his wallet. And he normally calls.
Did you try his mobile?
It's switched off.
Could we have the number? Do you think anything might be worrying him, Mrs. Masters?
I don't think so. Gary doesn't have much to worry about. I run the business pretty much on my own.
Would you say you have any pressures as a couple?
What do you mean?
Money worries, for instance.
No.
He gambles. Could he have gotten himself into trouble? What do you tell you if he had?
Mrs. Masters, do you think you could go and dig out some recent photographs of Gary? That would be really helpful.
What are you doing?
At the moment, she's our only link to Gary.
Linda Masters is not a suspect in this investigation, so I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't question her as if she is.
And we need to find him before Ahmed's associates do.
I know, but do you really think he's your hitman?
If we discover a gambling debt, he's got a potential motive to murder for money. Anyway, we'll know more soon. I've arranged for a search warrant.
What?
These are some recent ones.
I didn't recognize myself in that alleyway that night. I didn't realize I was capable of so much violence. I'm a doctor. I'm supposed to save lives, not come so close to taking one.
How does that make you feel?
Confused. No. Frightened. You know, at my age, you're supposed to know who you are. You know what you can do, what you can't do. You're supposed to know your limits. You don't want any surprises, not at my age. You don't want to find out things that weren't there before, or things that might have been hidden all along.
We'll see. Here's something I want you to try. Describe yourself using 1 or 2 word expressions. Just go for it.
Doctor. Healer. Community member.
Good. More personal ones?
Caring.
Go on.
Caring, intelligent, I hope. Caring, intelligent, moral, dependable, strong. Violent. But I can't escape it, can I? I mean, it's been added to my image. Or maybe it was there all along. Maybe underneath everything, I am living to the media stereotype of the violent black man.
Which carries as little truth as saying all people with skinheads are racist.
But what if that's really me?
You're going to get a crime team to turn this place upside down?
You forget we're running this investigation together. and the chief's breathing down our necks for a fast result. Relax. It'll be the team.
Right. One isolated incident of violence doesn't signify a way of life.
It was not an isolated incident. It's happened before. There was this guy. He raped a friend of mine. Her name was Faith. And I hit him once. And he fell down some stairs, ended up in a coma, fighting for his life. And I left him there. So it wasn't an isolated incident.
Why did you react to the burglar in the way that you did?
The burglar? Do you mean the rapist?
The burglar.
I felt vulnerable.
There's nowhere to run! Stop where you are!
I was with Faith. At the time of the break-in, I was with Faith.
Are you going to come quietly, Mr. Masters?
I really don't want any more trouble, all right? I really don't want any more trouble.
I heard something in the kitchen.
And what did you feel about Faith at that time?
Faith?
Stop right there!
I guess I was worried about her. You think I thought it was going to happen to her again? It was going to happen to her again.
Don't you move! I told you not to move.
Maybe I needed to protect her. I had to stop her from coming to harm.
You're right.
Yeah, he didn't touch me. Gary Masters, I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murder of Hassan Ahmed.
Both times. Both times of violence were connected with Faith. The first, you were avenging her for a terrible crime. The second, you were preempting anything happening to her. That is what you told me.
But it sounds rational. But both times I didn't act rationally. I really lost it.
The subconscious can inform the conscious. Even though actions may appear to be unconnected and random, there is often a thread or a core to them based in logic.
Saving Faith?
You can give yourself a hard time if you want. Blaming it on genetics or blaming it on stereotyping. Or you can start to look at the individual circumstances around each event.
But I'm not a knight in shining armor.
We'll just clean this up for you a bit, and then you'll be fit for interview, yeah?
And will you examine her?
Hmm?
Examine the police officer to prove that I didn't hit her.
No one's saying that you did hit her.
Good. I can't risk being charged with assaulting a police officer. You know how unpopular that would make me.
You've just been arrested for murder. How unpopular do you think you are already?
consequences. I deserve to be charged with murder. I did it.
Come in. Hi, he'll be with you in just 1 second.
You're going to tell me what that was all about?
What?
If you're not fit for work, you should go home.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? I slipped. Happy? Taped interview with Gary Masters. 15-20 hours. Present at Gary Masters, please state your name.
Gary Masters.
Detective Inspectors Earl Griffin.
D.I. Griffin?
And myself, Lucy Roth. Do you still wish to proceed without a solicitor present, Mr. Masters?
Yes.
If you change your mind later, we can arrange one for you.
I admit to the murder.
I'll remind you that you are still under caution, Mr. Masters. Do you realise the implications of what you're saying?
I went to the warehouse. I didn't plan to kill him. But it happened.
Why did you do it, Mr. Masters?
How is she?
Your wife, she's fine.
Not my wife. Mrs. Ahmed. Trina.
Probably devastated at the death of her husband.
I thought she might be relieved. So that's why I did it. For her. We were seeing each other, see. I was all set to leave Linda. Leave her to get on with her precious health club. Trina asked him, Hassan, husband, for a divorce, but he wouldn't allow it, so I went to see him. See if I could talk some sense into him.
And what happened?
It got out of hand. He wouldn't listen to reason. I got so angry. I saw the screwdrivers. Finally, he was listening to reason, but it was too late. So, how do I cope with what I've done? How do I cope?
Off to celebrate.
What's to celebrate? The whole operation's down the pan thanks to Gary Masters' love life.
You'd have preferred it to be the start of some gang war.
I'd preferred if Ahmed was still alive so I could nail him.
I expect Mrs. Ahmed wishes that too.
I'm in.
Dr. Robinson.
Inspector. Don't tell me you've just nicked yet another wino who needs patching.
No, thanks for a good day's work.
Really? Is that all? I mean, you only usually come in here when I've done something wrong, don't you?
Paranoia doesn't suit you.
Listen, Gary Masters. He went to great lengths earlier to convince me that he never hit you.
No one said he had.
So how come you ended up on the floor? Was it something to do with earlier at the warehouse?
You're not my doctor, isn't that what you say?
I can give you some advice. Hey, come on, come in, come and sit down.
I can't hear. Not all the time. It comes and goes, and I get dizzy and I lose my balance.
Okay, well, that would explain the fall out here. Here. That is okay. Just look up for me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to take your temperature. Yeah, your temperature's up. Your glands are a bit swollen. There's redness in your ear. That plus the symptoms you told me about. Sounds like an ear infection to me.
An ear infection?
Yep. Now, I can give you some antibiotics, but,
You're not my doctor.
yeah. So, go see your doctor, get treated, and then take a rest for a bit. Put your feet up, okay?
Oh, an ear infection.
Mm-hmm. You'll be right as rain in a couple of days. You okay? Hey, look, it can be scary, okay? It can panic people, but I promise you it's unlikely to be serious. All right?
Glossy lips, short skirts, and more front than south end. Cat's back, so don't miss EastEnders tonight at 8 here on BBC1.